Mr. Potato Head
Yes.
is no longer
Mr. Potato Head.
it is just potato.
Well, it was
gender
no longer,
neutral.
It was no longer Mr. Potato Head for 7 days. They took my boy away for 7 days. He served a 7-year sentence after 70 years. He served a 7-day sentence because they said my boy was gender conforming.
Oh yeah, here let's read this real quick. So even Mr. Potato Head finds gender conformity unappealing. Oh my gosh. The classic spud-shaped plastic toy is getting a new gender-neutral name, just plain Potato Head. With the toy maker Hasbro scrapping the Mr. portion. And then, I mean, everything else
The company said Mr. Potato Head, which hit the shelves nearly 70 years ago. That's what I needed to hear. That's what I wanted to see.
Oh, okay.
And then
Hasbro
Senior Vice President says the culture has evolved. The way the brand currently exists with Mr. and Mrs. is limiting when it comes to both gender identity and family structure. Now, let me explain something about family
structure.
Let me explain something about family structure. How do you make a family?
Without a Mr. and a Mrs.
You can talk about after the family, whatever after the inception of the family, what Mr. and Miss Potato after they did when they divorced, what they did with the kids who split custody of the little spuds. But as far as creation of a family, you're actually teaching them in proper, like anything.
It's not exactly. That's why I laughed at the word evolution. It's de-evolution.
Like a potato. And they have a Miss Potato Head.
It's devolved. That's what
so
I
why
meant.
couldn't they just add? Well, now they are.
Yeah.
After receiving backlash about the backlash.
Yeah. Then we got this article here because they received backlash. They had to reaffirm. Hasbro is scrambling to reassure fans that Mr. Potato Head still exists amid uproars over its gender-neutral rebranding announcement. Hold that taut. Your main spud, Mr. Potato Head, isn't going anywhere. Its company tweeted on Thursday.
Them. I ain't gonna lie. I need to say that. Fuck Hasbro for that. Fuck them for that tweet. Because that tweet is the equivalent of like a bitch doing some crazy shit to you and then texting you, hey, we know what y'all doing.
Mm-hmm.
We know what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna say, hold your tot. Oh, everything's all good. Mr. Potato Head isn't going
Trying to make jokes about it, trying to be funny. It's not funny.
We need to demand 7 billion different types of Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. The spectrum, we need to demand every type on the spectrum now.
Good luck.
And keep it up. Every day there needs to be a new gender, and we need to, because when does this end? When do you want it? Like, what is this? And then the baby. Will the baby be non-gendered?
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I feel like it's stupid that they buckled because it's like, regardless of what internet culture tells everybody, there are still people that choose to be, I guess, the conformists of what we always have done for families, where there's a father and a mother. You know what I mean? Like the basic. That's honestly what it comes down to. There are
How
still
is that
people
conforming
that
though?
want
I
to
don't really like that.
No.
The word.
He said, I guess.
No, I know what Jock's saying.
Well, it's because
not you, Doc. It's just
it's because it's progressive, and conformists are people that go back to the old ways of doing things.
This actually
other people
speaks
that are
to,
progressive.
This speaks to actually, like, just business-wise, this is a lack of brand identity. Because the whole thing of Mr. and Mrs. Potato is built off of that family structure. So this is also greed. Because they're trying to reach into a whole new demographic. But
You mean for like the woke people?
Yeah, but they're taking for granted theirs. So what they feel is when we do the genderless ones, the people who follow Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, they're going to get in line. Also, we've given them Mr. and Mrs. Potato Heads for 70 years already. We're trying to get people to buy this shit who haven't already bought it. So let's go to the woke group.
But why would
this is bad. They don't understand the brand's identity. That's my point. They received the backlash immediately from the people who actually support the brand. This
That's
is bad
true,
marketing.
The people that buy this are the people that care about the original family unit.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
we had this conversation earlier about marketing, how some people in the marketing teams are doing terrible. Like
terrible.
they don't like
terrible.
I think it's because even they don't know how to interpret the culture because it's so volatile right now.
Also, I think they're applying their mechanics that they've learned in school, which don't apply to anything we got going on today. As far as
what do you mean?
As far as like market appeal, what to do, getting beating trends, being before trends, sometimes it's not okay to be before a trend because you're overreaching. The trend might actually not reach that place that you're going.
Well,
You're forcing something
sometimes
that's
you're
not
forcing
actually a
something
thing.
to be on a trend because it'll die soon.
It will
before
die
you actually get into it.
exactly. And why am I running 20 yards before he throws the ball if he only planned on throwing it 10 yards? This is a 20-yard route. I just got the ball throwing it 10 yards. We stopping at identity, understanding that there's different genders. Why we have to make it genderless? Now they're trying to jump the gun, run all the way out there and be ahead of the scope so they can receive clout. We've turned companies into social
Cloud
media
chasers. We've said this before,
influencers.
didn't we?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said this before. Companies are turning into cloud chasers. They're trying to
Monetize.
monetize clout.
It's funny because I would have cloud chased or I would have profited on him. What I would have done is as soon as I saw this, like the activists kind of doing this thing, what I would have done is I would have sold another version of Mr. Potato that had both the parts for the Mr. and Mrs. And you could put whatever parts you want on them because they both came in the same box, and then I would upsell it because you're adding the extra parts.
That's a good point. Like the whole
That's what I
thing
just
about
said is
Mr. and Miss
bad
Potato
brand.
Head was that you could interchange the parts.
But what parts, Gene?
But they don't sell
what
it that way.
parts, Gene?
They
Answer the
specifically-
question. No. What parts, Doc? I don't want to hear nothing from anybody else. What parts we interchanging?
All of them. I'm just
I'm
gonna
about
put
to say
all the parts
all of
in
them.
one
No.
box
We're not talking about
and then
ears.
add an
We're not
extra
talking about lips.
$5 on it.
We're not talking about earrings. What
Legs
parts
or arms?
What makes the Miss Potato Head genderless? Answer. It doesn't wear a bow?
That's a good question. Hold on, let me scroll up to the picture of them. Well, that's
because
the
they sell them
Do they now
separately.
encode
So there's a
them?
Mr. and there's a Mrs. and they sell them separately.
I'm trying to go to
But
the
do
Mr.
they
and Miss.
include a penis and a
That's-
vagina now? Because technically speaking, even under their own standards, this is how interesting the snake biting its tail is. There's no way for them to make a proper genderless toy. It's physically impossible. Because what parts would they include?
But you
no
would
way
just have to
it'd be
swap in the
conforming
parts
to-
that what we normally consider
but-
to be a part of those genders.
But that's only 2 parts, Doc. There's no option for the trans.
Because you can't
there's
add or
no
remove
option for
genitalia, and you
for
can't
the-
add or remove the
Exactly.
breasts.
But the
This-
potatoes don't have genitalia. What I'm talking
Exa-
about are
exactly, though.
cosmetics.
That's John's point.
That's my point. There's no genitalia. So what are you telling us is switching? Now,
The cosmetics.
Exactly. So if the cosmetics are switching, how do you make a toy that has enough cosmetics to satisfy the group you're talking about?
You charge them an extra $10 and you put a bunch of more stuff in there.
But that more stuff won't cover everything, is my point. So the mission they've put themselves on is physically never ending and impossible. They will always be chasing.
Well, that's not their goal. I see what you're saying, but technically speaking, in that aspect, they then have a way to constantly feed
by
products.
dropping new
That
parts.
is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can just keep
So they're
making
gonna
Yeah,
drop,
exactly.
So they're gonna drop new genders.
You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the spectrum of genders now that's come out is it's never ending.
But what I'm saying is, yes, it leaves space for them to market. Okay, we're gonna drop a dick this time. Okay, we're gonna drop some tits this time. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm
Here's your
saying is,
potato. You can do whatever you want with it.
each one would be after backlash. And
they
that's
still
my-
probably make money though. So do they care?
But no, I don't think that's sustainable. Because now
I don't think so either.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. Because now you've created a volatile
But they
audience.
don't care about sustainability. They care about.
Back to my point, they've created something impossible to do. Because
Yeah,
once you
I
talk,
do think
But then
that
they'll
if they
pivot
were to
again
do
like they
it-
just did.
to what?
I think if they were to do it though, they would lose the original fan base for this, which is
Exactly.
The people
I
that
think
believe
they've already
in
fucked up a
the
little
original
bit too
family
much.
unit.
Oh, they definitely fucked up more than a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, okay, we pander to you guys now. We give you what you want. But the second we identify as we're trying to attempt to be woke, we're also showing how ignorant we are of the rest of the woke community as far as the other demographics we're not touching on. So then we're always going to have to constantly chase and appease those demographics.
Hey, thanks for watching a clip of Fake Deep Thinking. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Full episodes of Fake Deep Thinking are released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Peace.